Greetings and salutations, travelers. Welcome back to the Inn of Planar Crossroads, and as always, welcome back to our Around the Hearth discussions. We are currently in the second week of our Showdown at High June discussion points, which is, of course, for Westerns. You would know that if you were, well, you'd know that if you're looking at the thumbnail anyway, but you would know that if you were tuned into the first one or seeing it. So, we hope you tuned into that one. We established some very characteristic tropes of the Western genre before we decided to jump into this other things, which this time it's going to be the space Western. Because that's how iconic the Western formula and genre and tropes are, is that they can even go into space. So, before we get into that, let's do announcements real quick. I'll start us off so everybody has a chance to think about what any kind of announcements they need to make, and then we'll go counterclockwise from me. So, I am Adam L. Spain with the Inn of Planar Crossroads. Our only current goal right now is to get to $100 per month through via support of any channel of Patreon, Subscribestar, Locals, or direct contact. So, if you want to help support us, go ahead and do that. You can, hopefully we'll get to the point where we will be able to do some custom dice giveaway and stuff like that when we get to $100 per month of any kind of support. If we get over enough, we may have to splurge on some metal custom dice that have the Inn of Planar Crossroads logo on them or something like that. So,
I don't know. I heard you were going to whittle some wooden ones.
Moving on. But I don't think those, well, I mean, someone could pay for them if they wanted to, but I don't think those, my particular whittling skills would be all that good. Wouldn't be worth the milestone, I don't guess.
It's the thought that counts.
It's the thought that counts. But that's what we've got going on. They would be unique. I mean, I do make unique artwork. I wouldn't say that my whittling skills are up to that point, but I do make unique artwork, so I'll have to say. I think that's everything for us. So, going counterclockwise from me, Dan, what you got?
Hey everybody, Dan from Avenue Studios. You can find us on YouTube, Rumble, and anywhere you find podcasts. We do TTRPG content, a lot of live plays, especially we live stream Wednesdays, 9 p.m. Eastern, and in these monthly collaborations with the Inn of Planar Crossroads, we, at the beginning of the month, build a one-shot in Foundry, Jacob, Adam, and myself, based on the topic we discuss here on Around the Hearth. We take one or two elements and try to incorporate them into the one-shot, and then at the end of the month, we play it live as a playtest, and our patrons get to enter into a raffle to be the players in that game to play alongside me, because Jacob's a way better game master, and he runs these 100%. And what was I going to say? Just talking about Jacob got me all. We I don't know. We play games and stuff, so check us out. Derailed. We just got a good friend that has joined our Discord, so I'm very excited about that. So welcome, Fexer. If you ever watch this, hop over to Interplanar Crossroads. Welcome to the team, and thank you, Adam, for hosting these. I look forward to the discussion.
All right. And Josh from Copper Dragon Gaming.
Hey, so it's me, Josh, from Copper Dragon Games, out there on YouTube talking about role-playing games, usually focusing on 5e and virtual tabletop resources. Currently working on a 5e variant called Rosetta 5e and playtesting it with some friends and Patreon supporters. And we play games and stuff, because, yeah. And always on the lookout for new players, though. So come on over and join us. Super excited to be part of this chat. And space westerns, cool stuff. Let's go.
All right, Jacob. Anything you want to shout out?
Well, you can play games with me too. I'm through Avenue Studios, obviously, but I also have my Start Playing Games. Come on out, check it out. There are going to be more because I am going full time. So that is exciting. Yes. And so, yeah, come out, check out some of the games. Of course, obviously, Avenue Studios shows are a taste sampler of some of the things I like to do. And we definitely have one that is Western based. So come check out Outlaws of Alkenstar on Avenue Studios YouTube. It was a lot of fun to run, and the story was fun to do. So, and I have my wife.
Howdy.
There we go. All right.
Her name's Michelle.
All right. So that means we have our other guest who is here, who we shouted out last month, Scrat, or A Squirrel Plays.
That's me. Yep. The squirrel from A Squirrel Plays. I'm on YouTube talking mostly about TTRPGs. I squeeze some video games in there every now and then, and if you go way back in the videos, you'll see one or two things about some cinema, but that's a rare treat. The goal of the channel, other than reaching more people, is really to build a community where people can share their creations. Now, not so much just get people together to play games, but to share things they've been building and wanting to work on, and maybe be a little bit shy or get kind of shut down. I'm trying to give them a platform and say, hey, no, here's what I made, and people can run with it. So far, I've seen a lot of luck with that. People have been pretty eager to get out there and show off what they've made. Seeing some neat stuff, too.
Yeah.
Cool. That's awesome.
All right. That means we're done with announcements, and we would be doing Levi's Spotlight, except Levi is feeling sick this time. But that doesn't mean I'm not going to do it anyway.
You beat me to it.
Yeah. So, there we go. We've got Jacob, this dude that I found on Start Playing RPG. I don't know, he says he's from this weird place called Avenue Studios, and it looks like he's still got a slot open. He's still got slots open here on one of these, so, maybe you guys are seeing this as one, so he might not have slots open, so you better get on it. But he's going full-time.
There can be some more coming out.
So, keep up on that one. That's Jacob from Avenue Studios on Start Playing. He's our shout-out, and we're doing that because he's going full-time. So, good deal. All right. Okie dokie. That means we are done with the shout-out. We're done with announcements. So, come on in, travelers. Pull up a seat by the hearth. Join us as we discuss the Space Western and drink our preferred beverages. So, skål to you all.
Ginger tea.
That's your cheers.
Yeah.
Well, I'm in homemade kombucha.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Thankfully, it's not nearly as strong as some of my others that sit too long. Those get like vinegar, and I'm like, I don't want to drink that. All right.
I mean, I can start us off, because the first thing that comes to my mind, and I claimed it, so it's mine. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh.
Well, wait a minute. Who introduced you?
Touche.
Same.
Thanks. But Firefly.
Firefly.
I love Firefly.
No spoilers. He has not watched the movie.
I
He's not
can't watch
watched
the
Serenity.
movie.
He's not watched
have
the
not
movie.
yet.
He's just
How many
drifting.
of you
He's just
saw
drifting
the movie
along.
first?
Oh, you did? You saw it? Oh, no.
You're
That's sad.
really lost if you see the movie first. That's why
Yeah.
Super lost.
So sad.
I actually saw parts of the movie and I stopped watching it because I was like, I don't understand what's going on here.
Yeah,
I'm
that
like,
checks out.
I just, you know me, Adam. I just get on the ride and I go for it.
Yeah.
No,
Well,
I was like, this is really cool. I feel like I'm missing something.
A lot of
See,
stuff.
my
Yeah.
a lot
Yeah.
of something.
I was like, this would be so much more impactful if they had explained this better. And
Yes.
oh, this is a continuation of Firefly. Oh, now I get it.
Now, to last us back into the RPG world, I believe that the rumor is that he had actually played Traveler and had come up with the story through that, which is an RPG.
That's one we didn't mention.
Oh.
Yes.
And so that's what the rumor is. I don't know the truth on all of that, but hey, if you're watching this, let us know.
Yeah.
If you're a brown coat, make sure you comment, right?
That's right.
Also, all the brown coats in the comments.
We forgot to do that last time because Levi wasn't here making quips. We didn't do our comment of the video. Okay, this time's comment of the video is brown coats. There you go.
Nice.
But Firefly, I just love that it had that. It captured the Western feel for sure.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the edge of exploration, even the edge of technology in some parts, the mystery, then the planets had that for sure Western feel. I can't even remember now. I got to rewatch some of it, but like it is so easy to do a space Western, in my opinion, because you have that edge of lawlessness or the edge of law feeling that we talked about in the last episode of Around the Hearth. Go check it out if you haven't. But
Final Frontier,
right? So it fits well in space. It is I don't know. I just love Firefly. I want to watch it.
It is very good. It has become very quintessential to talk about when talking about space westerns. I would also bring up another one, Cowboy Bebop.
I was thinking that too.
Yeah.
Cowboy Bebop, some good stuff.
Not the live action.
No. That's not Cowboy Bebop. That's
I haven't seen
Cowboy
Don't
parentheses Netflix cash-in Bebop.
It didn't even make it through one season.
No.
That's
It was canceled.
the anime was amazing.
And the anime definitely has a Western feel to it, 100% too.
Well, even the final duel, in a way.
Yeah.
I'll just leave it there.
No, but it's like we were talking about before too, and what Scrap brought up with the character stories, and I mean Firefly really has that too. You're getting into these characters in there, even though it's space and it's planets and galaxies instead of just states, if you will. It's very personal stories in this wide, vast frontier that's full of mystery, and space is real. It really is the next Western.
Yeah.
In a lot of ways.
And to go back to another one we talked about, the community aspect. They really, especially in Firefly, they really build up the community on your ship, right? Like, and how even people who are so different, like if you contrast like Shepard with Jane, like vastly different characters, right? But have to cooperate in certain, to make things work. I don't know if they ever actually had a scene where they had to cooperate, now that I'm remembering, but
still a function.
So it's an
on a
RPG.
tight
is what
ship.
you're
It's
saying.
an RPG.
like, who are the most opposite characters in that show? But
They had to live in those tight quarters together. Period.
right?
I mean,
Exactly.
I think that if you're looking at Cowboy Bebop and you're looking at not Serenity. I do want to make that point, because Serenity's the movie. It does not feel as much like a Western, like a space Western. It feels like a sci-fi.
Sci-fi,
which
it does.
it is a space show instead of a space Western, because it's very big. It's, about government, big intergalactic conspiracy type stuff. Well, it's not intergalactic, would it be? Interplanetary. Conspiracy type stuff that felt very much like something you'd see in sci-fi. But the Western feel of Firefly is because everything keeps being personal. Jane has the Jane episodes have personal attachment to them. It's about him, his past, things he did, stuff like that. Shepard, all of them. They all had personal things that were going on. It was about interpersonal relationships. This this big, huge galaxy. And it's all all the conflict in this episode is just about this one, somebody got married somebody got swindled into a marriage. Like that. That's it. It's just this big, huge galaxy. But what's important right now is this. And that very much makes it feel like the Wild West. There's this big, huge expanse of space. Yeah, but what matters right now is whether we get food tonight or not. Or whether this gets finished, this line of track gets finished or not, or, different things like that. So
I guess my question is, in the space campaign, or, space Western, what's the horse? The ship?
It's the ship, yeah.
So the ship's the horse and the town.
Well, the ship's the ship. It depends on what you're doing, I guess, because like with Firefly, the ship is the wagon.
Right.
Right.
Okay.
And-
yeah.
Yeah.
And the mechanic.
That's
What's the
it,
mechanic's name?
Ugh, I always.
Kylie or something like that.
Something like that.
I
It begins
did
with
a
K.
while.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Begins with the K. But
Oh, it
she
does? Okay.
is the one. She's the one who cares for the horse, which is the engine of that. So that's her horse. That's her baby. So the ship,
Makes more
by
sense.
extension, is her baby.
And I always that character story too. I always am drawn to it, where you're in love with the ship. The ship has the personality, just like a horse. It's this, in the case of this one, the wagon, but it's that same thing of taking care of it, abusing it, yelling at it. There's this whole relationship that you would totally have with your horses pulling a wagon, or it's we develop it with our cars when we name our cars and stuff. So that's the same thing.
Don't give me that attitude. You know what you're supposed to be doing.
Turn that light off.
I feel like that's what they tried to do with the Millennium Falcon in Star Wars, but it didn't quite
Yeah.
pan out as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not as deep.
No.
Although over the years, I think the fans have created
Yeah.
that love. for it,
Extended
for sure.
universe, yes.
Yeah. well,
Disney
that's a whole other
universe,
story.
no. So,
Well, before that gets too stressful.
I know we're gonna do that,
Let's lasso that one back in.
but that's a really good. That is a good point. Yeah, Millennium Falcon was supposed to be. There was a touch of that with Han Solo, and punching things and hitting it and shouting. Han Solo is the cowboy with his dog Chewbacca, and his. his wagon.
Oh no!
Right, that's what it is, really.
Dude, I
Well,
love it.
yeah, except
see
his dog's going to outlive him.
Right.
Chewbacca's couple hundred years old or something like that.
Yeah.
Don't they live to like 1,000 or something?
I don't know.
Hmm.
Wookiees, man. They rip your arms off.
They will.
Let the Wookiee win.
Until Ari Salvatore kills him off.
Oh,
And spoiler, sorry.
Mm.
Yeah.
all right.
So with the space western on the tabletop RPG element and where that would sit, there's so much to do because it becomes you can still deal with weather because you can have asteroid storms in space. Then each planet has their own challenges. That
Or
could
cultures.
even in cult.
Yeah,
Exactly. I was just about to get to that
Mhm.
culture
Sorry.
conflict. No, you're good. I love it. I appreciate your input. The weather, the political, law, who actually upholds the law at certain areas, and it just fits so well in my opinion.
Yep. And if you're wanting something if you want something more individual to look at that still has it, that would be the Cowboy Bebop angle. Because there are 3 different people on there with 3 different personal ships.
Yeah.
So they're bounty hunters, so that's very much. I mean, just look at their what is the bounty program, bounty roundup or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Oh,
in
that's
there.
right. Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. So that's great to look at for that, and he's got these 3 bounty hunters that mainly work together, and this ship is their kind of home base / convoy type of thing, and it's always moving around. It's their wagon, but they have their individual horses. You got the fast one, you've got the tough one, and you got the fast one, the workhorse, and I don't know what hers would be called, the aggressive one, but
The stallion.
Yes.
the stallion. So you have those can be their individual horses, and you can still have that camaraderie. You can have that attachment to that. And then the again, like you're saying, the community becomes the larger ship itself where they all live.
Mm-hmm.
With the pug.
With
No.
No,
corgi.
no.
It was a corgi.
It was a corgi.
Yeah.
Yeah.
with the corgi
Almost
cyber
dropped the
dog
ball there. Yes.
that they never learn about. Only Ed bothers to learn about. Poor Ein, yes. So
But with space westerns, let's flip the bar there. I mean, we could just say, what about bringing space to Earth? I mean, there's aliens versus cowboys, right?
hey, that's fourth chat. That's fourth chat.
Oh.
I'm roping you in.
Oh, we got lost. My bad.
All right. But yes. And we were on the edge of technology, though. That was mentioned by Dan. And that edge of technology doesn't necessarily mean that you have no technology, or even that you're necessarily encountering aliens. On colonies, machines break. What happens when you have high-tech machinery that's breaking? You've got to do something about it. This Fallout, you need the water chip. Right? You got to get the water chip to save your vault. That's very Western. That's like poison in the well. That's basically what that is. How else are you going to deal with that? Well, you're going to have to go and find a new water chip, or you're going to have to find something to deal with that poisoning of the well. So, there's a lot of things you can do with that seem like this high-tech society wouldn't have to deal with this. Yeah, they would if it broke. And so you'd still have that grittiness. You'd still have to have that personal touch that comes with the Western. That personal story.
Yeah, and especially... Oh, go ahead, Josh.
I was just going to say, but it really emphasizes the isolation piece, too. Of, like, being so far away from quote-unquote civilization. You can't just go down to the shop and get a replacement. You gotta make it yourself. You gotta fix it yourself. You gotta, whatever. You gotta go on a quest to find that missing piece. I think that emphasis and bringing it back to the classic Western of being out in the wilderness and the untamed wilds, so to speak, is really compelling.
Yeah, that actually rolls right into what I was thinking too. If the idea that you're on the edge, depending on maybe how travel works for you, if there's like points where you can fast travel, FTL travel, but it's only certain points, and then you've got to travel at regular speeds, so you're on those colonies. Maybe you're craft part of the group that's establishing a new, node point on the travel network, so FTL can't go to you yet. So you do have to live off what you have, and you only know my resource resupply is only coming at this certain point because it takes this long to travel from the previous travel point. So you totally have that idea of you can't communication, even in a high-tech world, at those distances is still going to take time if you're not able to like hook up to the network because you're on the edge of the frontier. So you could have that feeling of like the letters again, and maybe there's someone that drives a small ship that's like the mailman is doing the circuits.
That would be very funny. Yeah. That would be very funny to see this little putt mail ship constantly going back and forth between the different. And he's and he's always getting all the heroes always zoom by him in some kind of combat, and he's like, "My mail!" or something like that.
Oh my god. It's got to be like an android too or something, right?
My mail.
Like C-3PO complaining about that.
That's so good.
But you can easily make, like what Josh was talking about, that isolation feel, even at that high-tech level, because you're at the edge of it. This is unexplored space, where you're colonizing. I was thinking about Slime Rancher, the video game, too. That idea. Going out there and you're on your own. You gotta figure it out.
That is a fun way to incorporate aliens in, is to have different alien wildlife that you're having to wrangle and ranch and stuff like that. I mean, if you really want to mix in that sci-fi part.
Nerf herder.
Nerf herder.
Hydrus farmer.
So somebody said earlier about bringing the space down to Earth, and it got me thinking, would Fallout New Vegas fall into that space kind of Western? I realize it's down on Earth, but it's got that retro futuristic tech that you find everywhere. And I don't know about New Vegas. Are the aliens in New Vegas too, like all the other Fallout games?
There's a crashed alien ship, I think.
Okay.
Yeah,
well, I know there is in all the other.
It's part of the DLC in the third one. Not in New Vegas, but in the third one. But New Vegas definitely would have that feel. Yeah. It does feel like a Western. It's a very personal story. Again, it goes back to those different storytelling things. In Fallout 3 and 4, which were done by Bethesda, you're a big hero. You're the big guy that's going to save the Commonwealth. You're the big guy that's going to save the capital. But in 1, and I guess you could kind of, you can't argue 2. Okay, so 2, 3, and 4 are big hero guys. But in 1, you're just trying to save your vault. And in New Vegas, you're not a big darn hero. You're just some guy some courier who's trying to get back at the guy that shot him in the head. Or, wherever he shot you. No, it was in the head. It's canonical. It's in the head. So. And then it just gets bigger from there. It's not your fault it's that big. It just gets a little bigger from there. And it's still only New Vegas that you're saving. You're not saving all of the Commonwealth, which encompasses a lot more. You're going all of the old capital. So it does feel a lot more personal. It does mix in that sci-fi too, because there's that retro sci-fi to it, like you were mentioning. With there's not the Mr. Handys, but they're the Securitrons and stuff like that you gotta work around and things. So I could see it.
Wow. I need to go play New Vegas again. Just gave me the bug.
Yeah. Well, see, you guys that like to stream your video games, here's how you do it and still wrap it into a TTRPG channel. You go on it and you say, we're going to play through this video game and we're going to make notes about all this cool stuff that you can do with your TTRPG by using this as inspiration. And there you go. It's that simple.
Boom. Or you could just run a Fallout-inspired game. What happens over on a certain channel.
Yeah.
That sounds like something a silly person would do. I don't know.
I don't know. There's this weird guy. There's this weird guy with a beard, not Jacob, and long hair, who made an entire map for one of his local towns and shared it for TTRPG players. That was for Fallout-ish. It's got the damn 13.
Pretty good.
I've heard he's just a weirdo, but
I mean,
we're all here talking about TTRPG.
All right,
but to lasso that back in too.
Yeah.
No, but the space western, the like you said, you're really just trying to capture the story. There's so much going on around it, and actually, so when I ran Outlaws of Alkenstar, somebody came to me and was like talking to me about it and how well we captured the western feel. Because often in westerns too, when you watch or read the books or consume any kind of western media, space western, there's a lot of things that are left kind of loosely or untied or unfinished because they're only trying to solve certain things. There's certain subjects or the certain problem. Like he took the rights to my waterway and dammed it up, and now my cows have no water. They solve that problem, and it's that issue. But there's all these other things that happen to it and around it. If you think about Firefly and stuff, there are loose ends, but that's okay. That's the beauty of it, because the story focused on, each episode focused on a certain situation that got solved, and you learned of the backstory and the depth, and then, so I think part of capturing the Western feel is to actually leave some loose little ends. That's just my thought.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Well, the fun thing about Westerns is that life just goes on. With Westerns, you solve that problem, but life goes on. You solve that problem, but, tomorrow we need to do this and stuff like that. And it doesn't have to feel unfulfilling. It actually can be very fulfilling to be like, we solved this problem. Our group solved this problem. Tomorrow's another day. So. All right. We seem to be getting real close to our 30-minute mark. So let's go ahead and do final thoughts. We will start this time. We started with Josh last time, I think. So okay, you've had time to adjust. You're up, Squirrel.
Hold on. Deer in the headlights. Man, I don't know. Final thoughts. All I know is when you told me about this, I was scrambling, searching, trying to figure out what in the world a space western is, and then realized I'd seen most of what was on the list.
That's awesome.
Though the list I was looking at did say Star Wars was a space western, and I can't I don't think I can get behind that one.
So. Not as it is.
Star Trek.
Occasional episodes.
Right,
of Star
right.
Trek.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Final Frontier, sort of. Yeah.
Yeah, but man, I don't know what to give you for a final thought there. You caught me off guard.
No, or
Other
well,
Well,
go ahead.
I was gonna say I don't. The list anyway that I was looking at, they were all older movies and whatnot, so I don't know what a more recent space western would be.
There's definitely been a lull. I think westerns are starting to come back, but
Well, I was say there hasn't been a western in a real long time.
yeah.
310 to Yuma was, I think, the last western that really came out. And that was
even
back
then,
in...
there was a gap between it and the last one before it too. So
Yeah. I think as you start to get, as people get more and more tired of big stories like superheroes, they're going to want more and more of those smaller frontier stories because they're more relatable.
So here's hoping.
Cheers.
All right.
Yeah, for real though.
Okie dokie. Well, if you think of something else, you can always pop in. But
I
that
will
means we're
pipe in and interrupt.
Yeah. All right, Jacob, what you got?
Space westerns are awesome.
Oh, okay.
Go watch Firefly if you haven't.
Mhm.
You will not be disappointed. But for real, they are the nice balance between if you have a group of players, and not everybody likes the cowboy western feel. I don't understand why, but they are a good balance is to do a space western. I mean, really, it can incorporate a lot more, and then you can still get that western feel that you really want to have.
Just make sure you have a horse. Gotta have a horse.
Gotta have a horse.
It's your animal companion.
Even
somehow
if it's
in
a steel horse, huh?
there. Even if it is.
All
I'll
right.
take a steel one over a regular one.
There you go.
Arguably,
Centaurs
the steel
in
ones are
space.
less sentimental. Centaurs in space. That's next, chat. Keep it in, Dan. Keep it in. All right. What you got, Josh?
I was gonna go and talk about Star Wars, but no, because it was already brought up. But yeah,
Could bring out the Mandalorian.
Oh, yeah.
that's true. Mandalorian fits a lot better in that in the scope of space western than the traditional Star Wars films. So true.
Yeah. It really does a good job at that.
Yeah, and I think there's some elements of the first Star Wars film before, like when you first have Luke going into town in the bar, meeting Han Solo, like that segment of the film, I think can hit some space western tropes. I don't think the extent of the saga would fit very well, but I can see some smaller, like if you just zoom in on certain time spans, then I can see it. Anyway, that's all I got.
Okay, what you got, Dan?
Let's see. I'm the worst one for it. I realized we didn't hit too much on mechanically what we could do, but I guess it would probably be a lot of the same ones, just reflavor. Especially like Savage Worlds, something like that has the deadly aspect, cogent as well, easy to reflavor and package. But
Jacob had mentioned Traveler too.
Oh, Traveler,
Yeah.
right. Thank you. Yeah, I think the big things are, it's what we hit on is that it's really easy. It's just upping the scale of the universe, but that's what it's going to be. Keeping the world, which in this case could be space itself, as a character, an entity in itself with a personality and in some ways goals, like we had talked about, all the different environmental hazards that could happen in space. Being isolated in space, your suit and your ship are what keep you alive, and if those things are going to fail and you're in the void of space, that's it. You're done if you're all alone. So space itself, just like we had talked about previously in the classic Western of the the natural environment you're in as a character in the story. Space itself is now your environment, your character in this story that you can have a lot of fun with playing, and it'll get those feelings of the Western trope into that story. And sometimes possibly on a higher scale, because space is so vast, so empty, you can really lean into the isolation there.
Oh, what was Levi's point for number 2?
Thank you.
We can also do that, this final section.
Yes. Levi's point. Put it on the big screen. Too many windows.
I can read it. In a space western, there's a more hands-on approach to how the technology works, because we're still focusing on the skills of the people in desperate situations. He just suggests that getting trapped in a space pod with dwindling air and food is a great space western situation.
Yep.
There you go. So that's Dan. That's Dan / Levi / Jacob with that point. And that leaves me. And I'm going to bring up a piece of media that you can kind of check out that is going to bridge between this space western and our next discussion of fantasy western, because I was kind of holding it off for a Weird West one in the 4th chat, but I think it fits better here as we're going through. Outlaw Star, the anime.
Yeah.
Not nearly as well known as it probably needs to be, as far as
I've heard of it, but I have not seen it.
It is so space western, and it came out during.
I forgot.
Especially when you think about it, it has that big eclectic mix. It has the space samurai. It has magical 6 guns. It has magic in it, which we're going to be talking about next time, fantasy. So hold your horses, slow your roll. So you've got that. You've got all of this cool stuff being mixed together in this sci-fi type of setting. So look at that one, check it out, and the ship does have an AI personality, an AGI. No, I'm not sure if it's AGI. Probably just AI personality. And that's important for, like we talked about, giving it that personal feel around your ship. The ship actually is a character in it. And you have this very solid type of example of a space western with fantasy elements in it, which we're going to be talking about next time. So that's my point. You've got that piece of media to draw from. It does stray into the gonna save the universe type of thing near the end, but those other episodes leading up to that, very much personal stories. So that's what I've got. We need to go ahead and switch over to our next chat. So, as always, travelers, have a great day. God bless and enjoy. Bye.
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 This content was made possible by travelers and viewers like you. Thank you.
Okay, I'm going to check this one. So let me close that. Get this one here. Check. So this one was good. This last one was good. I have to check them every time, because if I don't...
reshoot a couple times.
No reshoot. I hate reshooting. But I've only had to do that once, and I learned my lesson. I check now.
So I was going to make a joke about eating squirrels on the plains, but I'm not sure how that's going to lay well.
Oh, no.
Oh,
no.
That's the true RPG that Scrat wants to play. See, he wants to play where you have to stay away from the frontiersmen.
Oh, actually, that would be a fantastically fun one-shot to play a group of squirrels. Go ahead, Dan. God. I saw you have thoughts. Yeah.
No. I love it. Sorry, this is totally true, Jacob. Fexer, Fexr.
Yeah.
is his name in Discord because he spells
Yeah.
it differently on the other site. Sorry.
Yeah,
That's
sorry.
neither here nor there.
Yeah,
I'm
no,
doing business stuff at the same time.
no. I actually we played squirrels at one time. Remember with Adrian?
That would
Squirrels
be
and
awesome.
turkeys.
Oh,
Yeah,
squirrels.
we played
Yes,
squirrels. We
did.
played a Thanksgiving game,
Yes, we did.
and the turkeys were pilgrims and the squirrels were Native Americans.
Yes,
And that was a ton of fun
with the kids.
with the kids.
With the kids,
Always with the
yeah.
That was Open Legend.
Yeah.
That was fun.
Squirrels and turkeys, an open legend.
Yeah.
There you go.
Squirrels and turkeys.
I think the pilgrims got the short end of that stick. Happened to be turkeys.
Oh, they got more meat on their bones.
All right.
Oh boy.
Let's
I won't
see.
tell what's in my freezer.
We do have that big Tom.
Oh, he's
Walking around.
big. He's strutting his
What
stuff out
a
there.
Punk.
Oh, he is so, and I love it. We have regular hunters I'm getting to know that just stop and watch
People
him.
stop.
They
Like,
do.
dude, and he's huge. He's
Yeah.
got a massive beard. He is like, he's the Jacob of.
Yeah. Looks like a bear from far away.
We've had
from
people
our
think it
house.
was a bear.
Yep.
We're like, is it a bear out there? I'm like, no, that's a turkey.
That's a big turkey.
It's a big
He's
turkey.
one of those you almost don't want to get him. He probably
Yep.
doesn't taste
Nope,
good at this
I didn't.
point.
Yeah, right,
he tastes
exactly.
disgusting.
He's earned his place.
Yeah, you should see his prints out in the snow when I'm deer hunting. It is, every time I'm like, that is a scary big turkey print.
So it's like you meet him and it's so you're in the snow drifts and stuff like that, and then you're going around and you get this hunter that's after him. He finds the tracks, and then you hear this through the drifts, through the trees. Hunter looks around, then turns his head, and the Tom's right there by his face,
Yeah.
and he says, "Clever Tom." And he gets stacked. All right.
There's that. That's awesome.
Okay. But we got enough bloopers on this front thing. Everybody about ready?
Welcome. Yep.